guys, so for today's video I wanted to talk all about drugstore products that I swear by, and I had actually thought about doing this video a couple months back, but I just kind of put it on the back burner. But the reason I wanted to do this video is because I've always considered myself to be a drugstore girl, but when I actually looked at my collection, I have about 80% high-end products, which was so surprising to me. I just thought I had more drugstore things than that, and it's because when I started my channel in 2011, I wasn't working. I was just in college and I had no money, so of course I didn't have a bunch of high-end stuff. I had a lot of drugstore products, but just over the years I've been fortunate enough to work, save money, be able to spend money on makeup. And you guys know I always buy things on sale, so that was another reason I was so surprised. Or maybe it doesn't feel like I have a whole collection full of high-end products because I didn't pay full price for those things. But with all that being said, I do have so many high-end products in my collection of ones that I really love. And I wanted to see, like, what drugstore products do I even own anymore and which ones do I really love. So these are just my current drugstore favorites. This is not my drugstore makeup collection. There are other drugstore products in my collection that I will not be sharing in this video, and the main reason for that is because I actually have a lot of things that I haven't given much love to and I do need to test further. So I was thinking of doing a whole separate video on drugstore products that have been neglected in my collection, and then maybe doing a whole drugstore review roundup of those products. A lot of them are not new. They're things that I've had or things that have been decluttered to me that I just haven't given the proper time and attention to testing. So I definitely want to do that for you guys, to give you some more drugstore reviews. But yeah, these are the things in my collection that I really love, and I'm surprised there's not more, but I do feel pretty good about this group of products. I also will not be mentioning anything that's Morphe or ColourPop. I know a lot of people get very particular on what they consider to be drugstore, and I am not going to be mentioning those brands. Morphe, I just love their brushes. I actually like the Jaclyn Hill Vault Bling Boss and Ring the Alarm palette. I like those a lot. I know a lot of people didn't really enjoy those palettes. Those I thought were good, and then I like Morphe brushes. That's about it. ColourPop, there's a bunch of things that I love from them. I did recently film a video on if I can make my own ColourPop favorites bundle. I will link that in the cards. You can see some of my favorite specific products and colors, but also like the type of products that I really love from ColourPop. Let me know if you would like to see like an updated video on all of my ColourPop favorites and my thoughts on the brand as a whole. I would love to do that for you. But everything else here, what I consider to be drugstore products, would be things that you can purchase at the actual drugstore or Target, Walmart, or Ulta in the drugstore section. So basically all of these are typical drugstore brands, except I have one thing from LA Girl and I have 3 things from Pixi. I know not everybody considers Pixi to be drugstore because they can be a little bit pricier, but because they are at Target and Ulta, and at Ulta you can use the drugstore coupons on the brand. That's why I'm considering it to be drugstore, so don't come for me. I'm ready though. But anyway, let's just get started. So first I have a couple of tools, and I used to only use drugstore brushes, and I've kind of gotten away from that, but there are still some e.l.f. and Real Techniques brushes I use all the time and absolutely recommend. So the first is the classic Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I think that this is like the best sponge out there. I love the original Beauty Blender, but I like that mostly for applying cream, blush, and bronzer. But when it comes to foundation, concealer, and loose powder, that's where I think this is the best. I think that this shape is amazing, and I also just like love the texture of this sponge. It gets very big, very bouncy, and I don't feel like it gets caked up with product. Some of my other sponges, I feel like I have to wash them more often because it just gets thick and cakey. Not this one, but I love this shape because I will use the flat edge for foundation. I'll use the pointed side for under eye concealer, and then I'll use the back of the sponge to apply loose powder all over my face. And I can use this for 3 purposes every single day, which I think is so incredible. So I absolutely love and recommend that sponge. Then I also absolutely love the Real Techniques mini eraser sponges. So they do have a like mini Miracle Complexion sponge, and oh, let me show you the difference. So the other sponge is literally this mini size. I like this better, so they are very similar. The main difference is this one has a rounded top, whereas the eraser sponge has a flat edge to it, which is a really great size where you can really easily press directly against your lash line. And that is perfect for me because I have very, very oily under eyes. So this does a perfect job of pressing the powder right up to my lash line. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure these were discontinued. I do still have 2 more sponges, and the minis I can get to last a lot longer, which is great. But I believe that these are not available anymore, or if they are, it's only in a bigger variety pack. But I love those, and eventually I'll end up trying, you know, like the mini size of this, but I just love the shape of that so much. I'm very bummed that it was discontinued. Those little mini sponges are not necessary, but I do use one every day and I really love it. So definitely recommend this sponge. The Real Techniques sponges in general, I think, are really great quality and they're very affordable, and Real Techniques does go on sale 40% off several times throughout the year, and I will usually buy like the 4-pack from Real Techniques when it goes on sale because that's an amazing deal. But then Real Techniques also has incredible brushes. Their eye brushes are just okay for me. The face brushes I think are really great, but the one face brush that I'm still using would be the buffing brush, and this is great for foundation, but I actually use this to apply my cream blushes. This is the perfect size for my cheek. This is something I use today. This has the perfect amount of density, but it can still buff and blend. Not too dense, not too fluffy. It's absolutely perfect for cream blush. Then I've got 2 brushes from e.l.f. that I use on a daily basis. This first one, well, not a daily basis. This one's a consistent basis. This is the e.l.f. Small Stipple brush, and this is good for foundation. This is good for cream blush, but I also like it for cream bronzer. So I'll put a little cream bronzer in the back of my hand. I'll mix it around with the brush to make sure I have a nice even coating, and then I'll go right in the hollow of my cheeks and then up around my hairline. This is just a perfect size to make sure I don't get product everywhere, but it's also not going to sculpt too much, and it is really easy to blend it out. Because I'm fair, have to be very careful with those kind of products, so usually I'll go in with a brush and then I'll take a sponge and just kind of blend out the edges, but this is fantastic for cream cheek products. Then I have the e.l.f. regular stippling brush, which I use as my everyday bronzer brush. Again, because I'm very fair, I have to be careful with bronzer. So this picks up the perfect amount. It is a nice size for my face because I like bronzer to be a little bit bigger, not liquid because that can get a little muddy on me, but with the powder, it just works perfectly for the shape of my face and disperses the right amount of product, helps to blend it out. So those are my must-have brushes from those brands, but in general, the e.l.f. Studio line is really good. I know they've come out with a lot of newer brushes over the past couple years that I haven't tried, but have heard good things about as well. So then for foundation, I do have a bunch of drugstore foundations in my collection right now. All of those need to be tested more, but one that I have and I know I love is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. Unfortunately, this does not come in that many shades. They did recently release more shades on their website. I don't know if the new shades are also on the Ulta website. I have the lightest, which is number 10 Light Beige. This is too dark for me. This does have a nice little like dropper. It's a very thin consistency, but this does have more of a satin finish and it does give medium to full coverage. This has been said to be a dupe for the Fenty more mattifying foundation, and I think this is really, really good. And you can definitely pick this up on sale like I did. Really, really like this foundation. It's something I do see myself repurchasing. It works well with my skin type, gives me the perfect kind of coverage I'm looking for. I just wish they had a better shade range. Next, I've got some powders. So the first one has been a favorite of mine for years. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte powder in the translucent shade. This is the best touch-up powder for me. It does a great job of soaking up the oil on my face without making me look powdery. It doesn't make my makeup look funny, but it also keeps me matte for a long period of time. Usually I'll have powders either mess up the look of my makeup or I'm oily again in 20 minutes. This does such a great job. I mean, this is nice to set your whole face, but I like it especially for a touch-up powder. Then I've got my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in the shade 5 Fair. This gives great coverage. It has a very smooth finish on the skin. It's not too dry. It's not a glowy powder either. This is really nice for setting the under eyes. I also love this for setting the face. And I use this most often mixing it with some of my Too Faced loose powders that end up being too dark for me. This does a great job of lightening them, and this also mixes well with any other kind of loose powder that I've tried, and it's also good on its own. So this is a holy grail product that I see myself purchasing forever. Then I have a powder I love that is discontinued, but I'm showing it to you because it's still in my collection and I do still use it. I do have 3 products in here that were either limited edition or discontinued, so let me know if you guys would like to see a whole video on that as well. Unfortunately, I do have several products I love that were limited or were discontinued, but I'm going to show it to you quick because I don't want to make you upset. But this is the Maybelline SuperStay Better Skin Powder in Tin Porcelain. This is the best powder with coverage I've ever used. I actually have used just a primer and the sponge and applied it on my face. My skin looked amazing. It gave great coverage, didn't look too dry, and this is a really good shade match for me. They did replace this with the SuperStay Full Coverage Powder, and that one does not have a good shade for me, but the formula of that is nice as well. But I just love that powder so much. Then we have a couple bronzers. So the first one, no surprise, is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. They now have several shades, which is great, but my favorite is the original bronzer shade. I have repressed mine and I've hit some major pan, which I'm really excited about. I was hoping to use it up this year. Didn't happen, so hopefully next year I can finish this up. I do have a backup of this as well. This is a beautiful bronzer. It has a light glow to it. It doesn't look shimmery on the skin whatsoever, but it just looks more natural. It looks healthy. It doesn't look super powdery. And I am able to get really good pigmentation out of this. I don't have to dig with my brush. I'm still able to use my regular bronzer brush, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful and shows up really well on my skin. This is a great formula, a great product. The only thing that I would change is if they can make the packaging a little slimmer. This is one of Physicians Formula's downfalls. Like, the applicator they had under here was awful. I threw it away, but like, give us something a little skinnier. But the product itself is incredible and I definitely recommend it. The next products I thought about not including, but I've loved these for years, and even though I've continued to get more bronzers, I've continued to use these and love these every year, so I wanted to feature them. These were limited edition. I know, I'm sorry, but these are my go-to bronzers and contours for summertime, and these are Milani matte baked bronzers. I was hoping at some point these would be made permanent, but they weren't. Now they do have a matte bronzer formula, but it's not the baked version. I have not tried the new ones. I know a lot of people love them, but I have not tried them yet. But this is what the matte baked bronzers looks like. The lighter one is Sunset. You can tell I've hit major pan on this, and the darker one is Sienna. These are very warm toned. They can look a little orangey or a little red. They can be crazy, so I have to be very careful when I apply them, but I am wearing this one today. I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks too crazy, but I could definitely be wrong as well. But these are just very smooth. They apply so nicely. These also have a nice light cocoa scent to them, which is nice. These were such a phenomenal product that did not get enough love, and unfortunately were never made permanent. But as you can tell, I've hit major pan on Sunset, and I do have a backup of that one as well. Sienna, I need such a little amount that I haven't even really been able to wear down the dome on this one. But they were amazing, and I would love if they brought those back at some point. Then for blush and highlight, I actually only own one of each in my collection from a drugstore brand. Everything else I have is high-end, and both of these drugstore products are from Pixi. So this blush is something my friend Natasha sent me. She got it in an Ipsy bag. This is amazing. This is the Fresh Face Blush in Beach Rose. This is a gorgeous, like, burnt orange color. To me, I think that this gives you that like sunburn look, but like more terracotta. So beautiful. I love this in the fall time when I have more of an intense warm eye, and I usually keep my blush back here, but this is a color I'll bring a little bit more on my apples too, lightly, to give me more of that like sunburn flush look. This is such a phenomenal formula and a really unique color to my collection. I really, really recommend this, and I was so surprised by how much I loved it. And then For highlight, this is something I've tried to get rid of so many times for some reason. This is a Pixi Glowy powder in London Lustre. This was limited edition from the Aspen Ovard collection, but Pixi does have glowy powders in their permanent line, and I think that the shades are the same. They just gave them different names. I could be wrong, but this is a really pretty champagne shade, and this is very pigmented, super smooth and creamy. It's actually very reflective, but it blends out nicely as well. It's such a good formula, and they do have only a couple shades in the permanent line. They did do 2 limited shades with Aspen and 2 limited shades with Heart that are better for deeper skin tones, but this is a great formula and a really pretty color, and it also works really well for fair skin. Next, I have some brow products, and you guys won't be surprised by these. They're both from NYX. The first is my NYX Eyebrow Shaper Wax Pencil. This is something that has remained a daily use product for me since the beginning of my YouTube channel, which is insane. This is like the only thing that I still use since the beginning of my YouTube makeup days, and I actually had just pulled this little nub out of the sharpener, got stuck, so tomorrow might be my last use with this. I love this wax pencil. So basically, I will comb my brows, get them in place, then apply a light layer of the wax. I don't press down too firmly. Then I'll go over top of my pencil, then I'll set it with a clear brow gel. I just feel like my brow pencil does stick better to my brow hairs if I use this, but if I am using powder, which I haven't done in a while, I used to use powder every day. If I'm using brow powder, this makes it stick to my brow hairs and to my skin, which is what I need because my brows are incredibly uneven and they're very far from my nose. So again, this is unfortunately something that was discontinued. I'm very lucky I was able to get 2 backups of this at Marshall's. Milani makes something similar. I don't know if it's still available. Anastasia makes one as well, but this is a daily use must-have product that I've literally been using for 10 years, which is insane. And then, of course, I love my NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and I have the shade Taupe. This is the perfect micro brow pencil. I love Benefit Precisely My Brow as well. I think that works just as well as this one. The Benefit is a little bit more pigmented than this one is, but I don't have to like go over the same spot over and over again with this one either. It does a great job of lining my brows, drawing on the front, the tail. To fill in the center of my brows, I use a thicker angled brow pencil, but I can use it with this. But when I use the skinny pencil in combination with a thick brow pencil, both of them last me for so much longer. This is a phenomenal product. I have several backups of this, and I'm working through that stash. I also wait to buy these until NYX usually goes 40% off at Ulta around Black Friday time, so I'll stock up on these, but this is a phenomenal product. Highly recommend. It is $10 full price, but you can always get NYX on sale, so definitely wait till there's a sale. Holy Grail product will always repurchase. Next, I have an eyeshadow palette that I think is really incredible, and it took me by surprise, and that would be the LA Girl Haute Heat Palette. This is the second LA Girl product I've ever tried. Before, I tried their matte foundation and I didn't love it, and I ended up returning it, but I haven't tried anything else from the brand. And I think people sometimes think LA Girl is LA Colors, the dollar store brand, but it's not. So this is the Haute Heat Palette in the Vacay Everyday version. Unfortunately, the name is down here on the barcode. It took me forever to find. I do have a couple different versions of this palette, and this one has all the warm neutrals and the purples. The mattes in here are good, but not great. But the metallics, girl, they remind me of Juvia's Place because they're very dimethicone, they're very foiled, they are a little bit oily, so if you have hooded eyes like me, you might get a little bit of transfer into your crease, but I don't mind because the pigmentation is insane. This shade and this shade right here are my absolute favorites. They're incredible. Highly recommend this palette if you can still find it. I think it's phenomenal, and I wish that they would bring this back, especially because LA Girl is not that popular of a brand. Make things like this permanent if people really love them. Such a good palette. Highly, highly recommend it. If you're still able to find it online anywhere, I would recommend eBay, Amazon. Then I have a couple of single shadows from the drugstore, and these are 2 products that I've kept in my collection, but I'm gonna test more, and at some point I can see myself decluttering them, but for now, they are still loved. So the first would be the Maybelline Color Tattoos. I still love these, and Bad to the Bronze is what I've used up completely, and I repurchased it. This is a beautiful cool tone bronze. This looks really pretty on its own, but I love putting Urban Decay's YDK over top of it. I think this is a really great formula because it doesn't crease too badly on me. I do need to use an eye primer underneath, but I always do that. With the eye primer underneath, it doesn't crease, and it's not super sticky, which is good. I don't feel like I have to set it. I do usually use this as a base, but if I wanted to wear it on its own, I could. This is so beautiful. I love the color. The formula is really nice. I just apply it with a brush because usually my nails are too long to apply it with my finger. I do still love this, but overall I prefer a cream shadow stick for ease of application, but this is still something that I would consider to be a favorite. And next I have a L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in the classic shade Amber Rush, which is one of the most beautiful rose golds ever. I did hit pan on mine a couple of years ago, and there's so much product in here. This is a very metallic shade. It's very blinding. Once you get to this point, you can have a lot of fallout. It can be a little chunky, but usually I'll take one layer over a cream base with my brush, and then I will apply the rest of my eyeshadow, and then finishing touch, I will do another layer with my finger, and it is so intensely metallic and pretty. This is like one of the best rose gold shades of all time. I know that L'Oreal has discontinued a lot of the shades, but I think they still have a few. I could be wrong, but I think they still have this one around. That's the other thing, is Drugstore discontinues products all the time, and there are things that seem to be favorites by people, I guess at least people on YouTube. So I'm always surprised by how Drugstore brands decide what they're going to discontinue. Another product that I think is really good that is from Pixi would be their Liquid Fairy Lights, which are their dupes of the Stila Glitter and Glows. I find that the Stila Glitters have more of a pigmented base. These have a little bit more of a sheer base, but they have a lot of glitter packed in there, but I don't get glitter fallout on my face. So these are the three permanent shades that I have. We have Passion Light, which is the more copper color. Bare Brilliance is the Taupe shade, and Rose Gold. Really like these, and I definitely recommend those. Next, I have something that was unfortunately discontinued, but I've used a lot of this and I have a backup. This is the Maybelline Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Liner Pencil in the shade Striking Copper. Maybelline does still have a few shades in this line, but they're just like the gray and black colors. They did come out with a new range of pencil liners, but they don't have all the really pretty fun shades. I'm wearing this on my lower lash line today, if you can see it. So smooth. I don't find that this runs that badly on me, which is nice. It probably helps because it's metallic. I notice more matte liners running more, but like the Urban Decay liners run pretty badly on me. This one stays in place pretty well, and the color is so beautiful, and this is a go-to for me in summer, but especially in fall when I wear a lot of warm shadows. I just love popping this on my lower lash line. This is something that you can find on eBay and Amazon, and I highly recommend it. Next, for mascaras, my favorite ones from the drugstore will be a combination of the Maybelline Colossal Cat Eyes and the Maybelline Falsies Mascara. Both of those have natural bristle brushes and they're wet formula. The Colossal Cat Eyes is more curved, and I think that one is better for length, and the Falsies is better for volume. I haven't tried that combo in a while, but I have used it a lot. I've purchased several tubes of it, and I just get so many free mini high-end mascaras that I haven't used drugstore mascaras in a little while now, but those two are the best ones I've ever tried, and I especially love them in combination. I just knocked something down. And then I just have a few lip products and we'll be done. So the first thing here is the e.l.f. lip color remover. I think this is only $3. This is incredible if you wear liquid lipsticks. This is a super oily product. It has a nice minty scent to it, which I love, and I will like, it has an applicator where you can put it right on your lips. I don't like that it gets messy, so I'll put a little bit on my finger and then just massage my lips, and it breaks up the liquid lipstick like that. This is easier than even a makeup wipe. A makeup wipe, I feel like I have to like rub my lips really hard. Not this. It dissolves lip products so well. This is very affordable. I've tried comparable ones from Sephora and from NYX. This one is my favorite. Definitely recommend that. It's a staple product for me. Then I love the Eos Lip Balms. This is my favorite lip balm. I've tried a lot of high-end ones that I'm happy to use up when they're freebies, but this is the only one that I will actually purchase. So this is the Sweet Mint scent, which is my favorite. I like the spheres for around the house and the sticks for in my purse. Holy grail for me, because the formula is not too thin, it's not too thick. I'm someone that applies lip balm often, and this is the perfect texture to reapply, and I love this scent as well. And then for a colored lip product, I love the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumpers. I have 2 shades here. Both of these I got as free gifts from Ulta, and these are the shimmer finishes. They do have some cream finishes that I've heard Emily Noel rave about, and I definitely want to pick those up at some point, but I'm gonna wait till they're on sale, and I'm not hurting for any lip products right now. But these 2 shades are incredible. So Natural Lustre looks beat up because this is the one that I keep in my purse. You can see that I have already made some good progress on that one for the fact that I haven't been trying to pan it. It's just been my purse lip products. And this one has like a really sheer nude base. It just has a really intense shine. This does have a little bit of like a cooling feeling, but it's not even as intense as Buxom lip glosses, so I don't think it will bother you. Then I have Rosy Bronze, which I wore in a video the other day, and this has a little bit more of a base to it. It's so beautiful, and it doesn't look metallic on the lips, thank goodness, because I hate metallic lips. It just has a nice shimmer to it, but it doesn't feel gritty on the lips. It's very smooth. The gloss has a little bit of a thicker consistency, but it's not heavy, it's not sticky, it's perfect. And the applicator is like a big fat applicator similar to the Fenty Beauty. It's very fuzzy. Love this gloss. I can't come up with one bad quality. I think it's fantastic. So guys, those are all of my favorite drugstore products. I would love to know your thoughts on these in the comments down below. And again, I did ask you guys about a lot of different videos. I talked about a video on the neglected drugstore products in my collection, a collective drugstore review roundup, a current ColourPop favorites along with my thoughts on the brand, and a video on my favorite limited edition discontinued products. So I'll put some polls in the cards. Also, let me know in the comments what you would like to see. Also, please let me know your drugstore favorites down below. I would definitely love to test out some of your go-to favorite drugstore products. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys.